Hi guys, it's Iron TV Woman. Have you ever wondered who is the most powerful character in the universe of Maxidy's SKIBIDI saga, and how strong this character is? If so, then this video was created especially for you. Because today we will analyze in detail each character from this top, find out their strengths and weaknesses, and distribute all the characters in order in this list, and find out who is the strongest. In fact, this top was very difficult to compile, because there are really strong characters in the series who can compete well in this top. Especially for this, I had to watch the entire series in order to compile this top as correctly as possible. And before we start the video, I want to say right away that the characters will be taken into account in their best form, namely with all the improvements and in full readiness for battle. And we will not take into account the plot, what if. Because this is not canon, except for one of them, namely the last one. And I also want to say that this is only my opinion, and I ask you not to judge harshly. Well, if you want even more of these tops, then like and watch to the end, because we are starting. And the last 20th place in our today's top is occupied by the Speaker Woman. Unfortunately, this character was almost not shown to us in the series, because her appearances were only in 5 episodes, which is why she is not even fully revealed as a character. As for weapons, she uses only ultrasound from her speaker, fists, and toilet grenades, although even with such a small variety of weapons, she fought well against the SKIBIDI toilets. In the same 7th episode, she was only able to use physical force to destroy one large SKIBIDI, and in the 10th episode, she actively helped to destroy a scientist SKIBIDI, which was beneficial. If we talk about the character of the Speaker Woman, then we can safely say that she is very cheerful, positive, and active, but she is also very absent-minded, not serious, and sometimes even stupid. Also, it is easy to guess that the speaker loves music very much, and constantly listens to it, and even talked with Neos about musical artists in the 10th episode. Among her abilities, her ability to wield ultrasound immediately stands out, as well as her maneuverability, with which she can easily dodge enemy attacks. Perhaps in the next episodes, she will become stronger, but for now she remains in last 20th place. In 19th place is the Camera Woman. She was shown to us more often than the speaker, which is why we can highlight her habits and understand her behavior. Camera Woman is not very sociable, a little introverted, but she is one of the most belligerent characters that we have been shown more than once. For example, in the 7th episode, she massively destroyed SKIBIDI toilets, and in the 8th, she told the Speaker Woman, telling her not to be too positive as it annoyed a lot of people. In the 10th episode, she, along with other elite agents, helped destroy the scientist SKIBIDI and his assistants, but the scientist hit her with a missile, knocking her out of her stride for the rest of the battle until the plunger came. As in the original series, she has 2 machine guns that are attached to her arms, as well as a large cannon on her back that shoots energy orbs. Now the Camera Woman is most likely like all elite agents on the upgrade, because she was injured by a scientist with his SKIBIDI missile, which is why she will take the longest to recover. 18th place is taken by TV Woman. Of all the female characters, she is the most calm and reasonable, but sometimes she is stubborn. Episode 10 is a good example of this, as at first she did not agree to Neos giving her a normal voice chip, although it would have been much more convenient than continuing to speak in an upside-down voice, but she also showed her courage and resourcefulness in the battle with the scientist. Then, when the scientist's assistants arrived, she detached her head from her body and infected one of them, which the second had to distract herself with, as a result of which the SKIBIDI scientist fought alone for some time. But a little later, the same scientist broke her screen, due to which it could no longer function, and most likely the TV Woman was sent for repairs and improvements. After all, she will not be able to fight any longer with a broken screen. With the help of its screen, it can emit orange, white, and purple colors, and its TV can also play the role of a parasite, as it has a kind of tentacle that takes control of the victim. In 17th place is a Cassette Woman. This character is the newest of all, as well as the strongest girl in the series. The Cassette Woman is very kind and sympathetic, and will always come to the aid of her allies, whether it is one of the cassette men or an ordinary cameraman. She herself is from Russia, and even knows how to speak Russian, which was demonstrated to us in the episode. It is not yet known what happened to her because she was left completely alone with a huge army of Astro toilets. But Maxity would hardly remove such an important character from the plot, since it does not look like his style, and most likely the cassette woman will survive. Her main weapon is a small pistol, which is a very powerful weapon, as she managed to strip the Astro glitch of his helmet with a single shot from it. Grenades are no less important weapons. We were shown how skillfully the cassette woman wielded them because she managed to attach them to the Astro glitch while it was in flight, after which she blew it up. It also has a new technology, a healing grenade. When it hits the target, the grenade explodes and heals wounds completely, no matter how many or how big they are. But this ability is unlikely to apply to Titans. It is noticeable that the cassette woman is a very agile and fast character, because she was able to dodge all the attacks of the Astro glitch without any problems, and at the same time put grenades on him, and not every agent can do this. The 16th place is occupied by the Dark Speaker Man. This character has been with us since the beginning of the series, and from the very first episode, he has been contributing to the war by helping the Alliance, and is also one of the oldest characters in the series. Previously, it was exactly the same as in the original universe. That is, it had only 2 knives, but in the second part of the 6th episode, it was shown to us improved, and to be more precise, it had a knife that could heat up and act as a laser, like a sword from Star Wars, which made it very convenient for them to deprive enemies of weapons, sawing it in half. He also tried for a long time to convince the plunger not to kill the SKIBIDI toilets, like the cassette officers, but then realized that he was wrong to some extent, and so he went on a raid with the cameramen and TV men. During it, he was able to defeat one mutant, and was one of the first to sneak into the SKIBIDI toilet base, along with other elite agents. In the 10th episode, he took part in a battle with a scientist, and he took a role in his victory, and he was also saved by a plunger who told the scientist to let him go. The top 15 opens with the most unusual and strangest character in the entire series, Neos. It was first shown to us in the 8th episode, when scientists were conducting experiments on it and introducing new SKIBIDI technologies. After that, the big TV polycephalus destroyed these scientists and took this TV man for himself. We know almost nothing about Neos because he appeared in only 2 episodes, after which he was disabled by the scientist using a special control panel, but we do know something about him. Perhaps the most important information we learned about him from the scientist SKIBIDI, namely that he did a lot of bad things. But so far, we cannot be 100% sure of this, because the scientist could have lied to confuse the agents. It is also known that Neos has 2 very effective glows, namely an electric shock glow and a freeze glow. He made effective use of both of these glows, showing how much he had been modified by SKIBIDI toilet scientists. In addition to the glow, it has small cannons on the sides of the TV, with which it can destroy some protective equipment, such as goggles, a mask, or headphones, which makes it impossible for the enemy to protect themselves from sound or light. Neos also knows the SKIBIDI language, which allows him to break sound defenses, as well as read the inscriptions on the SKIBIDI toilet, which will allow agents to learn some of the secrets of the SKIBIDI in the future. And he also has devices that he can put on TV men so that they speak in a normal voice and not backwards. In addition to all of the above, he can also float in the air, which allows him to move much faster than other agents without a jetpack, and allows him not to waste fuel on it. The 14th place is taken by our beloved and respected Plungerman. This character, like the Dark Speaker Man, has been with us since the beginning of the series, and has been constantly trying to be the best while doing stupid things. For example, in the 5th episode, he went to the SKIBIDI toilet base alone, and even after meeting a stronger opponent, namely a SKIBIDI mutant with a chainsaw, he decided to fight it, even though he only had one plunger from the weapon, which caused it to be damaged, and it took a long time to improve. It was he who suffered the death of the Titan cameraman the most. He was tormented by nightmares and rage for a long time, but he was able to overcome himself and become a very strong character who began to fight with dignity and stop doing stupid things. In the 10th episode, he saved the entire elite squad from the hands of the scientist SKIBIDI, and also almost destroyed the scientist SKIBIDI, but at the last second, he managed to convince the cassette officers, who put the scientist to sleep and took him away for information. The plunger is armed with 2 plungers, which now also act as lightsabers to make it easier to deprive opponents of weapons. On his camera, 2 small cannons are visible, just like Neo's. Most likely with their help, it can also destroy glasses, headphones, and other protective equipment. He also has a jetpack upgraded that allows him to move much faster than before. And he also has a kind of rage mode that he activated to finish off the scientist SKIBIDI, but he was prevented from doing so by the cassettemans. The 13th place is occupied by a large TV man, which is also called polycephaly. His main feature is that he, like other TV men, is not shy about his expressions and often uses obscene language. For example, when he described a mutant with a saw, he said that he would put a saw in the same place, and when he saved a plunger for the first time, he called the scientist a baldass, and when the same mutant pierced him with his katana screen, called him again. Like the Plungerman and the Dark Speaker Man, this character has been with us since the beginning of the series. In the first episode, he saved the Plunger's life, because if it were not for him, the SKIBIDI scientist would have killed him with a missile. The second time he saved the Plunger was in the 5th episode, when he was attacked by a SKIBIDI mutant with a chainsaw. Then, the mutant was able to break his TV, which is why he lost, but he was able to save the Plunger. In the 7th episode, he actively participated in the raid, destroying the SKIBIDI toilets, and in the 8th episode, he found Neos, whom he knew the most. In the 10th episode, he fought along with all the other agents, but was badly damaged by one of the scientist's SKIBIDI assistants. But then the Plunger saved his savior, and thus they are now in charge. Now polycephaly is most likely under repair because it was not repaired starting from the 5th episode, but only repaired its screen. The 12th place goes to the SKIBIDI mutant with a saw. So far, we have seen him only once in the series, but during this time he was already able to show himself well in the 5th episode when he fought Polycephalus, who in turn came to save the Plunger. The mutant himself looks the same as his second version in the original universe, with glasses, headphones, a small laser on his arm, 2 katanas behind his back, and a chainsaw for his right hand. Mutant is very smart on his own because he competently fought polycephaly and very badly damaged it, sawing off 2 speakers and piercing his screen, although he lost points in the process. He also parried blows very well and deftly dodged attacks. He himself, along with the rest of the SKIBIDI toilets, escaped to Siberia, to the 2nd base, and most likely is somewhere on it, since in the 10th episode we were not shown the base in full. Unfortunately, due to the fact that this character appeared in the series only once, he was not revealed to us as a character, which is why we cannot draw any conclusions about him. The 11th place is occupied by one of the most important characters for the plot, namely SKIBIDI Scientist 3.0, and no, we are not talking about a large suit, but about the scientist we saw in the 10th episode. He is one of the most important characters to the story, as he was the one who retrieved the dead G-Man from the old Alpha Hills base, found materials for him, and upgraded him to Titan. All other improved SKIBIDI toilets and Neo's leveling are also his merit. He is also one of the oldest characters in the series, and he was the one who fought the Plunger in the very first episode. After that, he fled to Siberia, where a little later, the TV Titan came with small agents. The scientist fought very bravely against the elite squad in the 10th episode, not forgetting to use his wit, ingenuity, and knowledge of strategy, which allowed him to severely damage several members of the elite squad. But he was put to sleep by the cassette officers and taken away for interrogation, which was mentioned by one of the main cameramen in the first part of the 12th episode when he went to interrogate someone. Also, the SKIBIDI scientist told us that he was lied to that if you become a SKIBIDI toilet, you can become better, which was actually a lie, and he was also used for their own purposes for a long time, after which he ran away from these certain masters. We will talk about what or who it could be another time. But for now, let's move on to the top 10. The top 10 best is opened by the Astro Scorpion. He first appeared in the first part of the 11th episode, and at his first appearance, he destroyed one of the SKIBIDI toilets, namely an improved SKIBIDI DJ. Fortunately, he was able to catch the G-Men Titan, after which a fight ensued between them. We all know that the Scorpion lost in it, and the reason is about the same as in the original universe, namely the arrogance of the Astro Scorpion. After his loss, he was taken by an astro juggernaut, and after that, he began to be treated by SKIBIDI UFOs. Most likely he will be reinstated because this character is very strong, and besides, he definitely played an important role in the plot, and he fought with dignity against the G-Men. In addition to all this, we also know the real name of the Astro Scorpion, Trifenius. Apparently, the G-Men used to be one of the main Astro toilets, but he was guilty of something because of which he was exiled to the ground. However, on the ground, he did not live up to expectations, because of which the Astro Scorpion was sent after him, but they clearly underestimated the G-Men because he calmly destroyed him. The Astro Scorpion is currently regenerating and recovering, and most likely they will meet the G-Men again once in a while when the Astro Scorpio is upgraded. 9th place goes to the SKIBIDI scientist once again, but not to himself, but to his mech suit. I decided to put him here because he is really a very powerful, strong, and durable suit, which the SKIBIDI scientist worked on for a very long time, trying to bring it to perfection, which he did very well. This suit has a huge variety of weapons, including long-range cannon tentacles at the end, speakers with which it can repel many characters, including even Titans, whom it has no problem repelling. Behind the large main speaker, he has a TV that is capable of emitting absolutely all the radiations that affect enemies in different ways. Unfortunately, this scientist's suit was destroyed by the TV Titan 2.0, and cannot be repaired. But before his death, he was able to destroy the Titan cameraman by damaging its memory chip, making it impossible to recover. 8th place is taken by G-Men 4.0. Like the mech SKIBIDI scientist, he appeared only in one What If, which, by the way, is canonical, so we will also take it into account. As in the original universe, he came to the aid of the mech scientist, and then they waited together for the G-Fakes to help them counter the Titan of the TV man, but he was still able to defeat them all. After all of this, his dead body was found by the original SKIBIDI scientist, who, with the help of his assistants, took him to second base in Siberia, where he upgraded him to the state of a Titan. Also in the second part of the 6th episode, the Dark Speakerman's memories showed G-Men 3.0, and in the memories of G-Men himself, we were shown his second version. Of the abilities, G-Men 4.0 has all the same lasers, and even those on his head, but he does not have a shield and orbs that were in the original universe. Maxity paid almost no attention to this version of the G-Men, so let's move on. The 7th place is taken by the Astro Juggernaut. Yes, so far we have seen it only once, in the second part of the 11th episode, and in secret scenes of the same episode. However, based on the original series, we can already assume what it is. Since Maxity simply copied him, his abilities are still the same, without any changes, namely his cannon, which has a huge explosive power that can even damage Titans, as well as his shield, which he uses to shield himself from various attacks of his opponents so that they cannot inflict any damage on him. We also know his real name, Giovanno. We also learned this name from the G-Men, who knows all the real names of the Astro, as he used to be one of their generals. Most likely, the G-Men even know their weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and will have no problem destroying many Astros that can be used by him. But let's get back to the Astro Juggernaut. In the episode itself, he took the dead Astro Scorpion and took it to the Astro UFO, who asked the Juggernaut to bring him the Scorpion. What is happening to the Astro Juggernaut now is not yet clear, and there is no point in worrying about him yet, because nothing serious happened to him. And so far, he is not an important character for the plot, so let's move on to the next place. The 6th place is occupied by one of the Titans of this multiverse, namely, the Speaker Titan. Unfortunately, this Titan is the weakest of the Titans, but it has its own good qualities and advantages, which it has repeatedly manifested throughout the series. Like some of the other characters, he's been with us since the beginning of the series, and was the closest thing to the Titan cameraman when he died. After this incident, he hated himself for a long time, and considered himself completely useless. And after the TV Titan sent him a message that the cameraman Titan could not be returned, he became completely desperate, and even believed that he should have been the one who would have been killed. However, the Titan cameraman was able to help him morally, thanks to which the Titan Speakerman was able to believe in himself and stopped living in the past. He's on the upgrade right now, and we haven't seen him in 6 episodes. And let's hope that he's improved very well and become a really strong character, and not like in the original universe, where they just made another gun and added armor to the speakers and left him as the weakest Titan of them all. And finally, we got to the top 5 in our video today, who are really strong characters. And if they fought one-on-one, it wouldn't be clear who would win. And this very top 5 is opened by everyone's favorite character, who unfortunately died. And this character, of course, is the Titan cameraman. Unfortunately, at the moment he is dead. Or rather, his memory chip is damaged, which scientists have not been able to recover. During its lifetime, the cameraman Titan was the strongest Titan for a long time, until the improved TV Man Titan appeared. Although he did not receive a long running time in the series, he was remembered by all viewers for a long time, and everyone is looking forward to his return. Although it will not be the Titan of the cameraman that we are used to seeing. Perhaps now, many of you will ask why I decided to put the Titan of the cameraman so high in this top, because he has never shown any of his weapons in action. To this, I have an answer. All the first 67 episodes of the original series are canon in relation to this multiverse, and as we know, in his full gear, he is a very strong character, and even capable of fighting on equal terms with the TV Man Titan 2.0 himself. And it is not even clear who will come out of this battle on top, so the Cameraman Titan remains in 5th place. In 4th place is a new and very interesting character, Zabertron. This character belongs to the Astro Toilet race and is currently the strongest of them. Why, you ask? And I'll tell you, did you even see how he commanded energy in the first part of the 12th episode? Yes, that's right. This character wields the power of energy, which turns out to be very effective, and he managed to destroy all the SKIBIDI toilets and agents who were nearby at that moment. This energy is very powerful, and is probably even capable of destroying, or at least damaging, the Titans themselves, which he is quite capable of doing. Also, if you pay attention to the stripes on his helmet, you can see that he has only 3 of them, like the Astro Scorpion, which means that they are equal in rank, although Zabertron is stronger. It also bears a resemblance to the Astro Juggernaut because they have roughly similar masks. However, the Zabertron has a more complex mechanism on the mask and even has a kind of laser on the helmet, which makes it drastically stronger than the Astro Juggernaut. It is clear that Maxity tried to create this character, for which he certainly has great respect. The top 3 opens with one of the strongest characters in the entire series, the TV Man Titan. This Titan is strong in everything, in technology and in physical strength and in intelligence, and even in strategic skills. This character has been with us since the very beginning of the series, and during this time he managed to visit a lot of places and do a lot for the Alliance, which later led to positive results. He was the one who checked the place where the G-Men died for its presence, and when he did not find it there, he immediately reported it to the main Alliance officials. He was the only Titan to go on the raid with the cameramen and TV men, thanks to which the agents managed to capture the SKIBIDI toilet base in Siberia. He was the first to experience the power of the new G-Men Titan, and it was he, along with the Cassette Man Titan, who teamed up with him. He has a lot of merits, which is why it is simply impossible to call him useless or stupid in this universe, although there were a couple of moments where he did fail, but I will talk about this in more detail in another video. The 2nd place deservedly goes to the Titan Cassetteman. Of all the Titans, he distinguished himself precisely for his intelligence and strategic abilities. He helped the spokesman when they wanted to destroy the SKIBIDI kamikazes, and for a long time explained to him why it was pointless to destroy the SKIBIDI toilets, and asked the Titan speakerman in detail about the Alliance and their war. And with the help of his extra cord, they managed to drive away the little SKIBIDI toilets who flew after the Titan speakerman. Also, the Cassette Man is a very detailed and well-developed character, which Maxity created and designed himself, making him one of the best in the series. Let's not forget that the Cassette Man Titan also saved the Titan TV from the G-Man Titan, and together with him, they teamed up with him to eliminate the common threat of Astro toilets, which are now exterminating all living things, no matter who or what they are. All they want is to take over planet Earth like so many other planets, and I hope that the Alliance of the Alliance and the SKIBIDI toilets will help them defeat the Astro toilets. Also, do not forget about the mind of the Titan Cassetteman, because he is just perfect, and I could not even find a single moment where he was stupid. or contradicted himself. With the help of his own mind, he was able to influence the G-Man in the 9th episode, which is why he did not continue the battle and simply flew away. In the 11th episode, he became interested in an alliance between the Alliance and the SKIBIDI toilets, because the latter's scientists were actively looking for a way to turn all the SKIBIDI toilets back into humans after they defeated the Astro toilets. Unfortunately, the Titan Cassette Man is not in the first place for one reason only: it has a very small armament. All his weapons are tape recorders, with which he only puts opponents to sleep. Although this is also effective, but he has good protection. 2 shields that save him from many enemy attacks, which we were shown in the 3rd episode. He also has a huge iron fist in his equipment, which is worn on one of his arms to improve physical strength. And with this fist, he was able to damage the Titan's G-Man mask. And finally, the first place is occupied by a smart, physically strong villain. I think all of you have already guessed that this is a G-Man Titan. This character deserves his place because he has a huge number of lasers, he fights very well, and is also very smart, which has been shown more than once in the series. Surely many of you know that the G-Man was restored by a scientist who attached legs to his body, a mask on his head, and additional armor on his legs, thereby making him the strongest character ever to exist in the series. In this universe, the G-Men were also exiled to Earth, and instead of carrying out the Astro's orders, he decided to gather a huge army against them to destroy them. And he is really not bad at it, not least because he made an official truce with the Alliance to fight together against the Astro toilets. As for his strategic skills, they are just perfect, since he has been fighting for a very long time. And throughout all this time, he has been fighting better and better, since he fights competently and deliberately, without exposing himself once again, and there is simply no point in talking about his great strength, since in the 9th episode he just humiliated the TV Man Titan, not allowing him to damage himself, and only the Titan Cassette Man managed to pacify him. He is also perfectly able to break his enemies morally, which he did in the 2nd part of the 11th episode, breaking the Astro Juggernaut. We can talk about all the achievements of the G-Men for a very long time and a lot, but it is impossible to name all of them. This is the top we have today, but if you do not agree with my opinion, you can write your own below in the comments. It will be interesting to read, but today they are all friends. Thank you all for watching. Bye everyone, and good luck to everyone.